Hey guys, this is a very short intro to a very long video. I want to keep it short obviously since the video is super long, but as you saw in the title, this is the welcome home video for Mira, who is my last leopard gecko, and I have been waiting on her since September of last year, and I got her on February 20th of this year, 2018. Needless to say, this video is long awaited. Her coming here has been long awaited, and so I'm just really excited to share her with you. And I also need to share that this is my last leopard gecko. She has been planned as my last leopard gecko for months and months and months. She just took a long time to get here, and I'll explain that later in the video, like multiple times. It's a huge theme in the video, but we'll get there. And she's my last leopard gecko mostly because I already have over 20 geckos. Most of them are leopard geckos. I'm out of space, I'm out of resources in terms of like financial, and yeah, it's just enough. It's enough for one person who, also does other things like working and has other animals and stuff like that. So she's my last leopard gecko. I hope that doesn't upset anybody. There's plenty of others to love. There will always be geckos needing homes, and I can't give a home to every single one of them, quite obviously. Hopefully this isn't my last leopard gecko forever, but just for the foreseeable future, because I obviously, like I said, need more space and money and blah blah blah. And one day, when I have a situation where I'm able to get more, I will definitely do that because I love geckos. They're amazing. I'm looking at Melisandre and Tormund right now, but they're amazing, and I love each of them individually, and so yeah, one day I hope to have more. But for now, Mira is the last, and so I'm excited to share her story with you. The story may evoke some emotions in you. I ask you to be respectful in the comments. This is a positive educational community, and just be nice. So with all that said, let's just get right to it. And this is gonna literally go back in time to February 20th, the very morning of the day that I got Mira. So I did a full face of makeup. It is, how early is it, Jackson? Like 8 something? I don't know, I woke up at 7 and I went to bed at like 4, maybe 3, because I was too excited about what's coming. And since you saw the thumbnail and you saw the title, you already know, but I'll let you know anyway. I'm getting a gecko today, and I have been trying to get her since September, October, November, December, January, sometime around there. I posted a video actually on this channel about Mira, like I think in November, and I was announcing her because I was expecting that I would get to meet her soon. I'm petting my dog, if that's why I keep looking down and you keep hearing scratching noises. Oh, yep, there's the noise again. But I'm standing by my pet room window like I have done like every single time a gecko has been delivered. Actually, some of you might not have seen that, so let me explain. Someone who has the gecko, usually a breeder, takes the gecko and puts it in a small deli cup, big enough for it to turn around it, but not like flip over and do all kinds of crazy stuff, because you don't want them to have too much room to move because they can hurt themselves that way. And Nikki at Def Leopards, I think that's the same name of her YouTube, but she did a really great video all about how breeders box up and ship reptiles so that people don't be like, oh my god, that's barbaric and cruel. It's actually not. It's completely safe, and I can vouch for that because I've had like half my geckos delivered to my house. Maybe half, probably half, especially like if you haven't been following around since last summer, so June, July, August, I got 6 geckos in that period of time, and I call them my summer 6, so if you ever hear me refer to them as my summer 6, then that's who they are. It's Shireen, Jojen, Benjen, Melisandre, Tormund, and Liana. It's my summer 6. I have a whole series, or a whole playlist on this channel called Welcome Home Videos, and basically what I do is I show you me unboxing them and welcoming them home for the first time, putting them in their house. And speaking of house, Mira's is all set up. It's right down there. I actually did some really cool adjustments to Benjen, Tormund, Jojen, and Liana's houses based on like the personalities that I've learned over the past few months. Like, for example, Benjen had to have cork bark removed from his house because he has issues shedding with his face due to that like long flatness of his face and his underbite. It makes him very difficult to shed his face, and so he would like rub it raw against his cork bark. I actually have another gecko who does this named Brienne, whose face is really short and her eyes are really big, so she also rubs her front of her nose against stuff like cork bark, and hers never is as bad. Like, usually I can just come in and take it off and everything's fine, but Benjen like literally scratched his face up and was like, needing Neosporin. There's the FedEx truck. Okay, I'm gonna wait till like they pull up in front of the house before I run downstairs because it's raining. And they're probably driving nice and slow. Good, because Mira deserves to be safe. So Anyways, oh my god, oh, they're coming, I'm so excited. Okay, I gotta go. So you'll have to bear with me, the lighting's a little bit different than normal because it's so like dark outside from the rain. I had to turn the bedroom light on, and I'm sitting in front of the window, so hopefully that's enough lighting. Hey Jackson, don't sniff the box. So, here we go. Not showing you the address, come on, I'm not gonna dox myself. But yeah, that's, hey, don't do that, don't do that. Don't do that. This is Mira. I'm gonna go get some sharp scissors to cut her out. So that's Mira's house right there, right in the middle. It's so funny because like my geckos are still kind of awake, because if you didn't know, leopard geckos are crepuscular, which means that they are awake at dawn and dusk mostly. And so dawn was only about an hour ago. So stop that. Stop that. Please stop that. Please stop that. All my dogs are in here right now. Stop that. It's not for you. Scissor safety pointed at your face. God. Okay, this is well taped. I'll tell you that right now. Which is fine by me because I don't want anything happening to my geck. It says right on here that it's a live gecko. And so the guy at the door was like, oh, you're waiting for me. And I was like, yes, I am. And he was, then I was like, it's a live gecko. And he was like, oh. I was like, I'm surprised they don't read the boxes. But hey, whatever. As long as you weren't shaking up my baby, I don't care. Okay, so, just so you guys know that this is safe. Like I said, if you follow me in the past 6 months, which is likely, I think I've doubled in the past 6 months in terms of my viewership and who subscribes. But it's completely normal. Hi, Shireen. It's completely normal to ship a gecko. In fact, like when you get a gecko from a pet store, how do you think it gets there? It's shipped. And so it's actually probably safer to have it shipped to your house than the pet store. Something that's really cool about fish is like you can order fish online, and you're actually more likely to get healthy fish if you order online because they go right to your house with fast shipping instead of taking like days to arrive at a pet store where they're like really stressed out and overstocked as is. That's just a fun fact. But basically when you ship a leopard gecko, you want a small box. These are typically always the same size. It's like an 8x8x8 box. You house the gecko in a deli cup and you surround the entire box in styrofoam. And on top of the deli cup, you put a bunch of newspaper. You want to be able to make it move around as little as possible. Oh my god. Okay, so something that you should probably know is that this gecko was born in August last year. However, she's only 14 grams. Now, this is why I've been really hesitant about discussing this, because I'm not sure what to say. Like, I'm not sure if she just doesn't grow because she doesn't grow, or if it's a similar situation to Marjorie in which she wasn't being fed enough due to her, like, disability and her special needs. And so that's why. Okay, so basically what you'll see is you'll see styrofoam, and then all of it's packed in there, and then there's a little deli cup, and typically you put newspaper in there, or paper towel I mean, which is why there's paper towel in here. And god, this is the tiniest gecko I've ever seen, well, other than like those horribly tiny ones at the pet store. She's kind of jumpy. Jackson, I need you to lay down, baby. Jackson, I need you to lay down, baby. Sit. Sit. Be good. You can play with the newspaper if you want. I don't care if you want to do that. Here, I can show you guys Shireen off camera. She's awake right now. Okay. No, JJ. A lot of babies are really jumpy, so it wouldn't surprise me if she's the same way. Hi, darling. Oh, dear. Yeah, you definitely have. So, something about Mira is that her eyelids are deformed, so her eyelid, basically the skin has grown over her eye, if you see that there. So I'm pretty sure she's got some impaired vision, definitely in that eye. The other eye doesn't have as much skin growing over it. It's a very small amount, and I can see her pupil, so I know she has some vision in that eye. But this eye, I can't see anything. How are you being touched? Oh, you're not so bad, huh? Alright. You're the tiniest little thing I ever did see. Look how little she is. Holy cow. How you doing? Yeah, you think you'll take well to tongue feeding? Here you go. You can crawl out. I don't want to grab her up and snatch her because she's so little. She's flattening herself out. Yeah, here, take the heat from my hand. Yeah, good girl. Nice cold, huh? So it looks like she is completely blind in this eye that has the skin growing over it. Completely blind. I can't see. It just looks like her eye is blackened out and dried over. Yeah, I don't think she's so cold. Look at her flatten out. I know, it's okay. Yeah, we'll get you nice and warm. Yeah, just take my heat for a few minutes. So Marjorie's situation is that she basically wasn't fed enough because of needing to be tongue fed because she has a neurological disorder. Marjorie's over there. You're probably familiar with her. She has very big eyes like Renly, and she's really little, so she's like really cute. She's like a little pygmy gecko. But the sad thing about it is she could have been full grown. She just isn't because she wasn't fed enough. And what really makes me sad about Mira, which is her name, is that she is, let's see, over 6 months old, and she is this big. She came from somewhere in Indiana, and I live in Indiana, and I had tried numerous times to actually just physically go pick her up, and I really wanted to because I knew that if I could get her sooner, then I could help her sooner with her eye and also with her weight. Man, that eye is literally like not even an eye. Like all I see is skin and like blackness, and it doesn't close. Her eyelid doesn't close. What a shame. Oh, you poor thing. I know. That's disheartening. Oh my god, like I just felt my heart like sink in my chest. I thought she had 2 fully functioning eyes, or at least like skin was growing over her eye, but it looks like her eye is completely blackened over. Like I said, she has 1 viable eye, which is fine. I mean, even if she was blind, it'd be fine. I don't care. I don't want to cry. I just did my mascara. She's not even moving. Like she's. I know. Hi, girly. Yeah, she's not even closing. So like when she closes the other eye, she doesn't even close this one. There's nothing there. Perhaps as she becomes bigger, it'll be easier to see. I don't know if I could show you on camera, but it's literally just eyelid and skin and like blackness. Oh, she's moving around. I know. Welcome to the world, baby. I'm so glad you have at least 1 eye. I'll make feeding her easier because she can see the food. I know. My gosh, you are so tiny. You are just a little baby. She's really moving around right now. That's because she warmed up a little bit. Yeah, hi. Welcome. How are you doing? Mira has a sister that I actually found a home for to make sure that she went with someone that I was familiar with, that I could help like walk through any issues. Her sister's name is PJ. PJ has a deformed front leg. Her eyes are fine, and as far as I know, she has no neurological disorders, and it looks like Mira doesn't either, but I'll know more as I go on with having her. And PJ just has like 1 front leg that's like, whoop, it's like shorter than the rest, and it causes her some issue with like walking and hunting. And similarly, PJ is only 17 grams, and for the longest time, her and Mira were the same weight. And I was like, okay, so it's not just Mira, it's PJ, so it could just be the possibility, like, there's a slight possibility that Mira and PJ, just because of their genetics, are physically stunted. However, it is also entirely possible that they just weren't fed enough, and that would really, truly break me. So I think I will know more over time. I can't definitively say, and that'd be wrong for me to do, even though I'm leaning towards the fact that it was most likely she just wasn't fed that much. Holy there's an eye there, but it's cloudy. Hi, sweetie. So she has... I know. She just finally decided to open her eye all the way? I don't know what just happened. It literally was black, and then now I can see a pupil. Well, you're just a tiny little miracle, aren't you? Okay, so perhaps she's not blind in one eye. She's very visually impaired because I can only see like part of a pupil, and it's very cloudy. But she's pretty active. Oh, did you just a little sneezy? And another thing to know about Mira and PJ, first of all, both of them are very cute geckos, but I think all geckos are cute, so I don't think I'm like the fair judgment of that, but you guys can judge it. I think she's cute. Yeah, right now you're getting a side look at that eye that has the skin growing over. But God, she's so tiny. I've never had a gecko this small. The smallest I ever held a gecko was like 18 grams, I think. I think Jojen and Liana and Tormund were all pretty much like 18, 19, 20 grams when they got here. Because they grow so fast at that age. It's definitely a possibility that both PJ and Mira are slow growers. Like, I'm not counting that out. But I have a feeling little girl could grow faster. So that's what I'm going to work on. Oh, here you go. You're in my lap right now. You know, she's very good for a baby. She's not very jumpy at all. I mean, I haven't snatched her up. Let me snatch her up. Nope, not jumpy. What an angel. What an angel you are. So Mira is named after Mira from Game of Thrones, of course. All my geckos pretty much have Game of Thrones names, and if they don't have a Game of Thrones like first name, they have a Game of Thrones middle name. Here, let's see if I can get a good look at her. So you can clearly see the difference in her eyes, with this one having the more skin on the front, and this one not. And you can see the difference in the eye shapes as well. You're cute, huh? You're a little ham. Oh, am I facing you to the light too much? I'm sorry. That's okay. Yeah, it looks like she actually has an eye in there. That's bizarre. I'm telling you right now, it was completely black and like leathery. Like it didn't look like an eye. What are you putting some tricks on me? Are you a little trickster? She's temperature sex female, but she's so little, like, I don't know. Just like recently when I found out Tormund was actually a girl. She's just so cute. She's licking her eye. I assume she probably does that a lot to keep them nice and moist since her eyelids are little. And, you know, she can't really blink to cover them all the way. I have been so excited for your arrival, Mira, that I only got like 3 hours of sleep. There goes Sam. Bye, bud. So it looks like she has all her toe tips. That's good. So no issues shedding. Can I see your tail? Okay. Looks like her tail's all there. So it's just your eyeballs, huh? You get around okay. It's just your eyes. And you're not scared to be held, I'll tell you that. I was very anxious about her arrival, so now I feel better. I'm gonna go put her home, let her get properly warmed up. I mean, she's warmer than she was when she got here, but let her get properly warmed up. So I'll be honest, I don't feel comfortable giving her cork bark because of her eyes. Any sort of like, I don't know, dusties or anything like that, I don't want to get in them. So, oh, be careful. There's an edge here. Yeah, this is your new house. You gotta be careful not to run off the edge like that. That's alright. Here you go. Come here. We'll teach you. It's gonna take some time. Here. Your heater's on. It's nice and warm in there. So we've got her bowl with water. It's very a shallow bowl because I don't want her to like, I might even take some water out. It looks kind of deep for her. Yeah, you feel the warmth, don't you? Uh-oh. No, no, no. No, no, no. Yeah, there you go. This is the edge. You don't want to jump off of it. And she's got her humid over here, which is like, for some reason, not sitting on the ground. There we go. She's like, what the heck is happening over there? And that needs calcium. That's her calcium dish, though. What are you doing? You gonna go fill your heater? So as you can see, there's her eye that has the skin over it, and she's just a little cutie. I'm gonna let her settle in, turn the lights off, let her get some good naps in. You can see Eddard, he's napping very happily. So I'm gonna let her do the same and make sure her tail's not in the way of the acrylic. Alright, little girl, welcome home. Look at her, she's like, it's warm over here. I kind of want to talk about Mira, and I'm actually having like some inner turmoil and some conflict about discussing this, but basically I'm just gonna tell her story real quick, and yeah, I'm gonna tell her story. So Mira was born in late August. She was born, yes, August 25th, 2017. Not too long after she was born, I contacted her former owner, and I saw that she had deformed eyelids, and I was like, you know, I keep special needs animals. I have one more space available for a leopard gecko, and I had actually been saving that space ever since. That space where Mira is right now, there has always been one space. If you watch in the background of all my videos, it used to be this one over here, but that's where I put Liana. And that space has been available for her that whole time since I found out I was getting her back in like September. I had to wait until she was 15 grams to ship, and I was completely okay with that, as I am with every gecko that's ever been shipped to me. And the cool thing is, I found out that the person who had Mira lived in Indiana, and I was like, okay, cool, I live in Indiana. I don't mind driving to come and pick her up. She was like, that's great, we can do that. And so we let like a couple months go by of her growing. In November is when I announced her on YouTube, and I was pretty confident that after I had announced her on YouTube that I would be getting her like within a couple weeks. I figured that like I could go and pick her up, that she should be about that size of 15 grams by then. But she wasn't, and she never hit 15 grams. Like, she's not 15 grams today. And here's the thing. She's either not 15 grams because she's not being fed enough, or she's not 15 grams because she has some sort of stunted growth. Now, stunted growth typically happens from not being fed enough. So I'll use Marjorie as an example. Marjorie is a gecko that was 19 grams when I got her. She was sold from one breeder to another with a neurological disorder and apparently an eye infection. That person who bought her as a breeder was like, I can't use her as a breeder, and gave her to me. When I got Marjorie, I saw that she was only 19 grams, but what I also saw is that she was born like 8 months before that. So she was 19 grams at 8 months old, which is not acceptable. It's just not. You need to feed them. And because she has to be tongue fed, my guess is that she just wasn't fed enough. Like, she was fed enough to get by, but not enough to actually have any substantial growth. So Marjorie, to this day, has not hit 40 grams. When I got her and she was 19 grams, within like 2 months, she had hit 30 something. Like, her capacity to grow was there. She just wasn't fed. That's Marjorie. And like I said, to this day, she is not 40 grams, and I really doubt that she ever will be. She's like just stunted. She's like a little gecko. She has like just tinier everything. Her head's smaller, her body's smaller, her tail's smaller, her feet are smaller, her arms are smaller. She's just stunted. Now, the thing I think that happened with Mira is that she wasn't fed enough. Now, Mira has some vision impairment due to the skin that's growing over her eyes, which is like a defense mechanism or her body's way of making up for the fact that her eyelids couldn't close. So, my thought process is that she has issues hunting and that she wasn't able to find as much food that was being offered, or she just wasn't offered enough food. And like I said, it could have been that she's stunted growth. So I'm gonna have to keep an eye on her, see how fast she grows, see how well she eats when she's being fed every day. And my main concern is that she has stunted growth and it's purposeful, like whether through ignorance or otherwise, that she just wasn't given enough food, enough sustenance and nutrients to actually grow and be like a full, like, healthy gecko. Because she was born in August. So September, October, November, December, January, February. She's almost 6 months old. Almost 6 months old. And she's 14 grams. That's not normal. It's not. I'm just putting it out there right now. It's not normal. And it's not acceptable if it was because of negligence. I've really struggled with whether or not to address this because I don't want to put that person on blast, because what if they just completely had an accident and not knowing what to do? Do you know what I mean? Like, maybe they thought that this gecko just could be treated like all other geckos and didn't need special treatment. It's really hard to put the blame on someone who doesn't know that they're doing anything wrong. And as much as I want to, at the same time, like, I'm just happy I have Mira now. The most frustrating thing is that when I realized that Mira wasn't growing and that she potentially was being not fed enough, I kept trying to make appointments with this person to go and pick up Mira, and she was cool with that. And so I would make dates and times, and then she would stop messaging me back for weeks, and I would not hear from her, get any updates on Mira. I wouldn't get any updates on whether or not I could pick her up. And this happened 2 or 3 times where I had actually set a time and a date to drive there, which was like 2 hours, so it would be a 4-hour round trip to go pick up Mira. And in the beginning, she was so open-minded to it, she even wanted to meet me halfway, but as time went on, she was not open-minded to it. And perhaps she has some sort of social anxiety, perhaps she's afraid of strangers. I completely get that, I accept that. But what's really frustrating is, like, she played along with it like I could pick her up, and I started to feel so much anger regarding it that I was basically like having to sit here and watch this gecko that I had already fallen in love with, that I had already set aside a house for, that I had passed up other special needs geckos for, and I had to just sit there and watch basically her be potentially starved and not given the full enough food to grow to her best potential. And the thing is, Mira has a sister. Now, I arranged for a home that is in Indiana that I am familiar with to pick up her sister, who's also special needs, or pet only due to a disability. Her front leg is stunted, so she doesn't have full access and movement of her front leg. It's just like, it's like a little bit shorter and kind of bent. And her name is PJ. She's named Paige Jojen. I thought Jojen was really cute because Mira and Jojen are sisters, and sister and brother in Game of Thrones, and so it's really cute that she kept that part of the name. But her name is PJ, and PJ is 17 grams, but for the most part, she was pretty much always the same amount as Mira. Because they are genetic sisters, I can't say that, like, oh, this proves without a doubt that she was starving out the babies. No, it just proves, it doesn't prove anything, because they both could be slow growers due to their genetics, which are not good genetics. Only time will tell. My only other issue is that the breeding pair that these 2 deformed geckos came from, I believe, is going to be bred again. I believe the person who had Mira and PJ before outwardly said this on their Instagram. They were going to put that pair back together. But yeah, it's been really frustrating to have to say, like, to have to play nice with this person, and a lot of times I wanted to tell them exactly how I was feeling. But I knew that if I did, this might spook the person away from wanting to give Mira to me. So I'm also having that same feeling about posting this. So if this person who had Mira is out there watching, please know that I do not hate you, and I'm not ever going to, like, put you out there. I'm not going to put you on blast. But I do think that it is possible you need to reevaluate what you are doing with your infant geckos, your growing geckos, and that if you do have any special needs babies from pairings that probably shouldn't be paired again, that perhaps you give them the extra time that they need and don't just treat them like every other baby gecko. I get that maybe you've never dealt with special needs geckos before, so you might not have had to do this, but I'd really appreciate it if that in the future you could do this for the geckos so that they don't end up with stunted growth like potentially PJ and Mira. I'm very apprehensive about posting this. I think that's evident with how many times I've said it. I'll update this and I'll show you guys if it is actually the fact that she was not being fed enough, or if it was just her being a slow grower by nature, by her genetics. And I'll also keep you updated on PJ, since I am friends with the person who has PJ. So I'll let you know how that gecko grows as well. Little girl is in her humid hide. It's so hard to see with the door shut. Here, let me open it. Look, there's Edward. Here we go. There she is. Of course it doesn't focus on her. Of course it's not going to focus on her. How annoying. There she is. Poor little girl's heart is racing. I know, honey. Oh, it won't focus on her. Not at all. Let's see if I can get a close-up of her eye. So you can see there's definitely an eye in there, even though there's that skin covering it. Let's see if it'll focus better. You can see the eyes kind of clouded over too. And then, oh, she's going to turn her head, of course. That's what reptiles do. But yeah, for comparison's sake, this is my hand. Like, she's tiny. I'm going to weigh her right now, actually. Come on. Oh my god. Could you please turn on? Oh my god, this is ridiculous. Thank you. Sheesh. Alright, let's... Hi. That's okay. Oh, I know. It's very scary. It's a new world. I know. Here you go. Here you go. Step in. It's okay. It's okay. 14 grams. 15. Oh, look at that. Hi, little thing. Come here. Yeah. Here, I'll put you back in here. There you go. Good girl. Let's see if we can get you to eat. So on Mira's first night, I was unsuccessful getting her to eat. She hung out with me a lot, but she got really easily startled, and now she's back in her house, and I've left some mealworms in a bowl for her. Something I've learned about Mira is that she likes to poop on top of her house right there. That's the second time she's done it. So this is Mira's enclosure right now. I added some plants, which I think she definitely feels better about because it adds some darkness and some extra hiding places. If you'll notice, you can see her tail back there. She's right back there, and it's a lot darker now because the plants are above it. But she's been playing in her calcium. I'm sure she was probably walking back there to poop, and she was like, "What? What are these leaves? What is this?" And I just put fresh mealworms in there because she ate a second time. So she's still terrified of me, but we are making progress. Hey you guys, I wanted to post a Mira update, and by Mira update I mean she has been here for like almost a month, and I've been learning a lot about her. She's still super shy. That's her house right there. She has not come out to see me except like when I'm across the room, and I've been in the room for a while. In fact, if I come in the room and she's out, she'll go hide so she shouldn't have to see me. In the first week she was here, she did not eat anything, and then she started eating upon her second full week being here. So she's eaten for like 2 full weeks now, because we're in like the 4th week, so she's eaten for 2 full weeks. And in those 2 weeks, she has gained 3 grams. So that kind of answers some questions for me about her growth rate. Additionally, I reached out to the person who now has her biological sister, who is named PJ. PJ has gained 4 grams in the same amount of time. She also took some time to not eat, which is completely normal for geckos arriving in a new home for the first time. And in the same amount of time, like I said, she gained 4 grams. You have Mira who gained 3 and PJ who gained 4. Like I said earlier in the video, it was a thought of mine that perhaps they weren't being fed enough and that's why they weren't growing. Now, with a constant supply of food, and by constant I mean I offer her food in a bowl for her to eat at her discretion. Some days she eats an entire bowl full, some days she skips, and then some days she only eats half a bowl. So I'm leaving it completely up to her. Because she is so small, she's being fed mealworms, and she's taken well to them, and she was being fed mealworms before. I think that I'm close to definitively saying that her having grown 3 grams in 2 weeks and her sister having grown 4 grams in 2 weeks is because they're actually being fed properly and on a normal like schedule instead of being fed sparsely, which I thought was probably what was happening because Mira did not grow at a normal rate and neither did her sister. So I thought perhaps they're just genetically predisposed to be stunted because of their defects. As you know, Mira has her eyelid issues and PJ has her leg issues. Her leg is stunted, it's shorter. And Mira's eyelids are overgrown on her eyes. So I thought that that might be, you know, a related thing. However, like I said, they have grown a lot in a 2-week period. I think now, seeing that they have grown so much in a short period, that they would have grown that much if they are being fed properly at home. At their previous home, I mean. So, though I don't like making absolute statements, I'm led to believe that if Mira and PJ had been fed in their previous home as they're being fed now, they would have reached 15 grams way, way sooner. So what does this mean? Well, it means that potentially PJ and Mira, like Marjorie, who's up here, will have stunted growth. I know that she wasn't being fed enough because she has a neurological disorder and she can't get them on her own. She needs to be tongue fed. And the person before the person I got them from was not feeding her enough, apparently. But I'm also not ruling out the fact that it could be due to their genetics. And now, seeing them grow at all is a good thing, of course, but it could just be a slow amount of growing because they are stunted. All these factors are definitely things I'm keeping in mind. Like I said, I don't like speaking in absolutes because the world doesn't always work that way, and I don't know this other person who bred them, so I can't say definitively, though I want to, that they just weren't fed enough. I caught Mira eating, and now she's like, the light has come on. It is time to vacate the premise as fast as possible. Yeah, you're looking right at me, dude. It's okay. You've gotten a little bit bigger, I think. It's kind of hard to tell, but I've weighed you and you're bigger. Yep, see, that's the fastest avenue to get away.
Of the people that watch these videos on my channel every day, about half of you are subscribed. The other half is not subscribed. So the way that you expect to see my video when it gets uploaded. But the subscription box has not worked the way that we expected the subscription box to work for a really long time, and we've all known that. Subscribed channels will not necessarily show up in recommended or latest uploaded or anything along that lines. If you want to see the channels you're subscribed to, you have to go to the subscription feed. But recently we've even noticed that sometimes a video won't appear immediately right away, or sometimes not at all in the subscription feed for a channel you're subscribed to. And of course, that's what we all thought the notification bell was for.
So this is the last and final update to Mira. I promise there will be no more talking in this video. This is the end. And I just want to say that having Mira has been an absolute treat. She still wants nothing to do with me and still hides from me, but she's been absolutely not hostile, not mean. She's been really great. And she's eating well, eating regularly, pooping a lot. And it's so funny because I remember someone on Instagram talking about how they poop so much more at that age, so there's so much more cleanup, and I forgot because all my babies are grown up now. So I was like, yes, there's a lot of cleaning at that age. And yeah, she just poops a lot. But anyways, she just hit 22 grams. And earlier in this video, I had said something about I didn't ever think that Marjorie was gonna hit 40 grams, but she hit 42. She's almost 2 years old, so that gives me a lot of hope that if Mira does in fact end up with some sort of stunted growth like Marjorie, that she will someday eventually hit 40 grams, which is a really small leopard gecko, but that's still a pretty decent size for a leopard gecko. I mean, like I said in another video, I prefer my geckos to be 50 to 60 grams or more, but 40 is good for Marjorie. So yes, Mira is 22 grams. Her sister PJ, I think, is just a gram or two ahead of her at this point, so they're getting pretty close. I think that I can definitively say, and I've been through this like a million times, I realized how much I talked about it in editing. I've edited this video 6 times before even including this clip, so it's a lot. So I just wanted to give the most respect to the situation that I could, considering I don't want to make absolute statements, but I'm pretty sure, considering that I've had her for just over a month. Let's see, I got her on the 20th of February and it is now April 2nd, so I've had her for like a month and 10 days-ish. She skipped a whole week of eating, so we can take out the 10-ish days, we'll take like a month and a couple days. And she's grown from 15 grams to 22 grams, and that's the most growth I've seen out of her since the day that I first saw her, from the day she was born and had her eyelid issues, and I contacted her former owner all the way until she came to me. She would grow only a couple grams a month, if that. So yeah, yep, I'm pretty sure she just wasn't being fed enough, and that sucks, and it is what it is, but I'm saying it, and I'm just happy to have her. I don't want any ill will towards who had her in the past. In the comments below, I want this to be nothing but a positive learning experience for people who breed geckos, for people who have baby geckos, for people who have special needs geckos. I want this to be a positive learning experience. If your gecko is only growing a gram or so a month and it's a baby gecko, you might want to look into why and take some measures in the right direction of having your gecko grow at a more normal pace. But yeah, at this point in time, I feel pretty comfortable saying she just wasn't fed enough. And that's it. That's all. This long video can come to an end, and it is a happy ending, one that Mira and I will share for the rest of her life. Hopefully she lives the 10 to 20 year lifespan that leopard geckos have, and I'm just super excited to have her for all that time and to be able to share her with you guys here and on other social media sites such as Instagram and Facebook and blah 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 blah. If you've made it all the way through, comment. What should we comment? Well, yesterday was April Fool's. Comment April Fool's. If you made it all the way to this point, comment April Fool's. And then I'll know that you watched the entire thing and that you're a crazy person just like me. Please keep in mind to like, comment, and subscribe. If you comment, I will definitely get back to you. And also, if you subscribe now, you have to hit the bell. That's YouTube's new thing, not mine. So if you ever want to be notified of my videos or have them delivered to you on a regular basis in your sub box, you have to hit the bell. If you want to see more of Mira, please check all the links below. There's links to like every social media and all other kinds of stuff. And now it is time to end this ridiculously long video. Alright guys, we'll see you next time. Bye!